Welcome to NextFem Leaders, a podcast for conscious, ambitious women who want to make a real impact with their careers without losing themselves or their well-being in the process. I'm Isabel, your host, a leadership coach with over 13 years of corporate experience. I know how hard it is to lead in systems not built for us, especially if you're introvert, kind, intuitive, or spiritual. So here, each week, I will share tools that blend the practical and the mystical, the feminine and the masculine, so that you can lead with clarity, confidence, and authenticity. If you know in your bones you're meant for much more, you are in the right place. So let's start. Hello, beautiful woman. Welcome back to the NextFem Leader Podcast. Here we are at the end of December 2025. And there are so many things I want to share with you. The first one is how dual this month feels, especially in the northern hemisphere. While nature is going inward, I love watching the tree in front of my window, which is now completely without leaves. And I feel I'm also that tree. It has been a dance between continuing to work while also acknowledging the much deeper need for rest that this winter month asks of us. And if I'm honest with you, I take it as a big win that this is the first year I'm completely at peace with December being chaotic. There is certain peace in realizing that yes, it will feel like this while we live in a society that pushes us forward, asks for constant productivity and many external celebrations, while nature calls us to slow down and go inward. And without wanting to change any of that, in some way this tension is what makes December so beautiful as well. So my first invitation here, if you haven't yet, is to take some time to do a closing 2025 ritual. You can download our closing 2025 workbook and listen to our last episode while I guide you through this process. It has been so beautiful to receive your pictures and messages while you were doing it. And I went through it myself on Sunday, scrolling through my phone and looking at the pictures from this year, realizing how many moments I had already forgotten. And one of the most beautiful lessons of my 2025 has, of course, been this podcast. While doing the Spotify Wrapped, I discovered that this podcast was listened to in 21 countries and that it was top 10 for 53 women. And that we were recently awarded a 2025 Instant Hit Award, meaning that we were listened to more than 80% of new podcasts. And I won't pretend the numbers don't matter because they really do to me. When I read the news, I did a small Latin celebration dance and sent love to all of you beautiful souls listening to me. Not only listening, but also sharing your comments, your insights, and your challenges. So many deep conversations came from this podcast, revealing that we, as NextFem leaders, right now need courage, community, and a safe space to grow. So on December 31st, you will receive the last episode of this season, a second part of episode 19, so you can do an opening 2026 ritual as well at any time during January. And as I mentioned before, in January we will take a break to look back, assess, and plan the next season, which will start in February. I personally wanted to record 21 episodes this year because most podcasts don't make it past episode 21. So I set the goal for myself back in June, no matter what, I will finish those episodes by December 31st and then decide how to continue. Halfway through the process, it became very clear that there will be a second season. But today, I want to end this season the same way we started, by talking about who the NextFem leaders are. And for that, I want to share a very personal story, followed by a reflection on who we are becoming as women in leadership. It was 3 years ago when I decided to open this business that a vision came to me during a yoga class. I saw myself standing at the shore of a waterfall. And I knew in my body that I wanted to jump. A few meters in front of me, there was my fear, and in my vision I pictured it as an orange, hairy cartoon character, telling me all the reasons why I wasn't ready, why it was too risky, and why I should wait a little longer. I spent some time fighting with it, trying to convince it, trying to silence it. And then, instead of pushing it away, I gave it a big hug and I told it, we're jumping together. So I took my fear by the hand and we jumped. We jumped through the cliff of the waterfall and started falling. And panic and anxiety came stronger than ever. I was terrified, asking myself, what did I do? Why did I do this to myself? And then, at some point, I stopped falling. I was completely static. And when I looked down, I saw my mom, who passed away a decade ago, my grandparents, my great-grandmothers, and many ancestors I have never met. They were all below me, holding me so I wouldn't fall. I stayed there for a while, and then I realized something was happening. Wings were growing from my back. They slowly opened, and I could start flying on my own. My ancestors stayed with me for a bit, until they realized I didn't need them anymore. And then they let me go. I started flying over this beautiful place, seeing from above how incredible the river and the trees looked. The fear was still there, holding one of my hands. And at some point my partner appeared and took my other hand. And when I looked forward, far ahead of me, I saw some of my mentors, people I deeply admire. They were flying higher and they were telling me, "Come, Isa, this is the way." And even though they were far, I could clearly see the direction. So I started following it. And then I heard somebody shouting from behind. And I turned around and I saw my sister, and also two of my very close friends. And behind them, hundreds of women. They were all flying too. And they were telling me, "We saw you flying, and we wanted to fly too. So we are flying with you." This vision came to me many times, and it always makes me emotional. And in March this year, I went to Iguazu Falls. I knew in my body that this was the place I had seen in that vision. I had been there once before when I was 8 years old. And when I was standing there again, on one of those bridges above the waterfalls, watching the waterfall with such force and beauty, something became very clear to me. This is the energy. And in that moment, the name of this community arrived. We are the NextFem Leaders. A name I was looking for a long time since I started my business. I asked myself, what was I building? But I was not sure, so I waited for the name to come. And when I reflect on this vision, I realized it wasn't just about me. This vision carried lessons about who we are as a community, about who we are becoming as female leaders. So I want to name those lessons clearly. Starting from the first lesson, NextFem leaders are not women without fear. They are women who stop waiting to feel ready before they begin. This is one of the main shifts women experience in my coaching programs. They stop waiting for confidence to appear, and they start moving anyway. Fear didn't disappear before I jumped. It came with me along the entire journey. Second lesson of this vision. NextFem leaders listen to their inner yes, before strategy, before permission, before certainty. They listen to emotional truth before external validation. They believe in their vision. The jump didn't start with a plan. It started with a knowing in my body, and the guidance came along the way. I always say to start a journey, we need to know where we are starting, and we need a clear vision. But not the kind of vision we were taught. Not a vision obsessed with the how or with every detail. A vision guided by who we are becoming and by how we want to feel. The NextFem leaders trust emotional truth as data. They allow intuition to initiate movement. Their vision comes from a feeling. Lesson number 3. There is always a process from becoming. There was falling, stopping, being held, growing wings, flying. The NextFem leaders don't skip steps. We move through them. There are moments of panic, doubt, and fear. But sensitivity doesn't disqualify us from leadership. It qualifies us for it. We don't numb ourselves to survive systems. We learn how to hold emotion without abandoning ourselves. Lesson number 4. NextFem leaders remember they are held by lineage, by community, by something bigger than themselves. This has been such an important one for me. And at some point, we realized we have wings of our own. Lesson number 5. This is not a solo journey. It has never been, and it will never be. Leadership is contagious. The ripple effect is amazing. And just like in the vision, we are constantly inspiring each other. The NextFem leaders don't rise alone. They rise with others. This is the end of lone wolf leadership. The end of I will do it all myself. Instead, we build spaces where women feel at home in their ambition. Lesson number 6, and probably the reason that brought you here in the first place. NextFem leaders are visionaries. We see the possibility of a better future, a more sustainable one, a more equal one, a healthier one. And this is probably our greatest strength and also what brings us the most challenges. Because throughout history, visionaries were often called crazy or unrealistic. Think about Copernicus, about Darwin. Think about any major thought leader who challenged the paradigm of their time. For a long time, I blamed myself for being too positive, too idealistic, too much living in Disneyland, until I understood something. I'm not naive, I'm a visionary. And many of the same people who once said I was living in Disneyland later came back and asked me how I did it. One of the reasons I started this work is because I was tired of the kind of leadership we see in the world. Tired of seeing women who could be incredible leaders trapped in self-doubt, myself included. And this year has been especially challenging. Many of the women I work with lead in areas that were deeply challenged: sustainability, DEI, innovation. These are not stable systems, these are in-between systems. And the women leading them are liminal leaders, standing between what no longer works and what has not fully arrived yet. And you that are here listening to me are also a liminal leader. When I ask most of my clients leading in these industries, what do a leader in this space need? Resilience, focus, creativity came in the responses. And it's easy to sign up for a resilient leadership training, but life usually gives us the better training, just allowing us to go through a year that develops your resilience. So what is a resilient leader? She's a woman who defends her vision even when it's misunderstood or resisted. It's a woman who learns to be comfortable in the discomfort of her own evolution. It's a woman who jumps with the fear by the hand. It's a woman who allows herself to rest when she needs. It's a woman who listens to her body needs. It's a woman who accepts receiving help. And I want to ask you, did this year train you in this? Because I know it trained me. I know how chaotic the world feels right now. I know how much pain and frustration many of us are holding. But my beautiful woman, this is not the moment to play small. This is not the moment to hide. We need you leading. We need you visible. We need you grounded, focused, and connected to what is possible when we dare to change an outdated paradigm of leadership. If you can see a brighter future, it's because you're meant to help build it. And this is what it means to be a NextFem leader. We're the NextFem leaders because we're building a different type of female leadership. This is the kind of leadership that is born when the old world is ending and the new one is still being imagined. The more I work with women, the more I see the ripple effect that happens when a woman chooses to act despite fear, when she starts sharing her own truth, when she starts taking space, when she allows herself to be visible. The ripple effect is powerful because conscious women are not driven by status or power. We're driven by impact. When you give tools to a conscious woman, she doesn't just grow her own career. She becomes a leader who leads from the heart. She considers the community. She opens space for others, especially for those whose voices have been ignored for too long. So my beautiful woman, in this 2026, we need you to step fully into your leadership. And if you are leading without a map, but with a deep sense of truth, you are exactly what the future needs. And from my side, in this 2026, you have my full promise to keep bringing you the tools, insights, and spaces for you to step into becoming an NextFem leader. And I'm taking the chance to share that on 19th of January, as every year, we are starting the year with the Becoming Her Week, a week full of live events and workbooks, insights, and tools for you to take your career and your confidence to the next level. So if that feels interesting, join me and you will have the link in the show notes. And with that, I want to wish you a beautiful winter break. Merry Christmas if that's part of your celebration, and a beautiful start to 2026. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being in this journey to become a NextFem leader. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you love what you heard, let me know on Instagram at NextFem Leaders, or send your thoughts and reflections to info@isabelfonseca.com. I truly would love to hear from you. And if it resonates with you, I would be so grateful if you left a review or a comment so that it helps more conscious, ambitious women to find this space. And please don't keep it for yourself. Send it to another woman you know who needs to hear this message today. See you next Monday at 8 a.m. Until then, keep leading with your truth and remember, you already are an NextFem leader.